Okay, welcome Facebook Live. This is Wendy at the Goddess Awakening and Healing Sanctuary. We're a little behind schedule because of technical difficulties, but it's all good. I'm sure that you will come back in. Hey, Kimberly Berry. I'm sure you'll come back in later to check it all out. But we're going to be talking about the importance of detoxification. I'm Roland Dolo in the studio today. So just bear with me. Definitely like, share, subscribe to the page, and ask any questions you have. And if I can, I will answer them, but I'm on the radio. So I'm actually taping the radio show live. So I got to be careful and make sure that I'm still being very good for the radio for us to be able to package it and make it seem like a real radio show. Okay. So we're going. All right, Jessica, I'm ready, I think. No break in the middle. All right, welcome to the sanctuary. You're listening to DC Radio 96.3 HD4 and DCRadio.gov. I'm Wendy Cherry, your host, and I am here rolling solo in the sanctuary today. And that's cool. I could do it myself. So what we're going to talk about is the importance of detoxification. So now detoxification, what we know about it is that it is super popular now. Everybody's been talking about it. I think for like the last 15, however many years, people have been talking about detoxification. But with the internet and with all these new products out, you'll hear it even more. So you'll see people talking about, get this green juice for 40 days and you will be able to detox. You'll hear people talking about just take this pill, or do this wrap, or go to the gym and sweat and do all different types of things. And that's what the idea of detoxification is. So what I kind of want to do is break down really what detoxification is, why it is important for our bodies, and then kind of go through, hey Cole, kind of go through some of the bodily functions so that you will be able to understand why the body needs detox, why it's important, but then even more, how you can harness the benefits of it and then do it in a way that makes sense for your body. So I just want to give you the standard definition of what a detox is. So detoxification is, okay. So it is the metabolic process by which toxins are changed into less toxic or more readily excretable substances. So for those of you who are on the radio, listening on the radio, or even here on Facebook Live eventually, I want to say off the break, get a pen and a paper, because you will probably want to take notes, because it's probably a lot of information, and I have an hour to share it with you. But then also to support what I'm talking about, I have created a free detox guide. So it's like an infographic, and it basically just talks about the importance of detoxification. And so I'm holding up a photo here now. And then it also gives you, I'm just going to go through 5 things about detoxification. There are so many, and everybody's body is different, which makes detoxification even a little more, it can be a little more tricky at times. So again, detoxification is the metabolic process by which toxins are changed into less toxic or more readily excretable substances. So we've been hearing about green juice and all these different things. Here is something to consider. Everybody's body is different, and we call that bio-individuality. So your body works based on, the primary thing is how you were when you were in your mom's womb, how her state of mind was, how her state of being was, her state of health, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. That's science that they're really just starting to talk about and to explore more now. But that's really set the tone for how you flow in the world. And so if your mom was smoking, if your mom was taking drugs, if she was doing her own green juices and eating lots of healthy fruit and vegetables and lived somewhere where there weren't a lot of toxins, or was very happy that you were in her belly, then you probably had a better go of it. So toxins are a few different things. And as we are moving into this newer modern society in 2019, we have created man-made toxins that have never, ever existed in the world before. And so they are now, impacting our bodies in ways that the human body has never, ever been impacted before. So we have evolved as hunter-gatherers from Africa. Every human being comes from Africa. And so the way that our body has evolved, it takes a few thousand years for the body to actually change and do something different, called evolution, right? So we change and we grow to adapt to our environment. And then there have been situations in the past where the earth reacted in a certain way and the inhabitants of the earth were not able to sustain their health and their well-being, and so then they died. So that could be something you could think about, like the dinosaurs. That happened to them. People, some of the original people, it happened to them where they weren't able to sustain based on the weather, based on the food or lack thereof, based on if they had any diseases, and based on lots of different things. So then they were able to adapt, so then they died off. But we are here, obviously, which means we were able to evolve, and then the sick ones die off, and that's just kind of the natural cycle of life. So some of the toxins that we have been exposed to or that are, out and about are bad food, bad air, pollution in the air. The newer ones are genetically modified organisms. So that's food, that's the internet and Wi-Fi, electromagnetic frequency. And then some of it also is the way that we manage stress. So if we don't manage our stress in a way that helps us to release some of the things that we're feeling, that also becomes a toxin. So no, everybody is different. If we take two separate people and we sit them like twins, say we take twins, in the beginning, they are biologically the same. By the time they turn 70, they are two totally physiologically different people. And so you know how you see one twin that doesn't look as healthy as the other twins? Sometimes as they age, one might be heavier, one might be sadder. It just depends on what they have chosen to do for their life. And so that also has a lot to do with whether they are detoxing, whether they know it or not. Like, we're always detoxing whether we know it or not. So the twins, one of them eats great food, one of them works out, one of them has a job that they love, one of them sleeps well, and then the other twin is stressed out, and because they're stressed out, they smoke cigarettes. And they smoke cigarettes because they don't like their boss. And then they don't like their boss, but they still have to stay there because then they're afraid that they don't have any money, or that they leave the job that they won't have any money. So then they're on a cycle, and they're on a cycle of toxicity. And then it keeps compounding and compounding. And then when it's time for bed at night, they're not able to sleep because they're so stressed out because they know they got to go to work tomorrow, and repeat the cycle. That creates toxins. So you have you have a set of twins, and they are experiencing life in a different way. And it all really depends on the choices that you make. So I want to be clear, when we're talking about detoxification, I want you to be careful of jumping on the green juice pill bandwagon, because unless you have had your blood tested to know what the toxins are, then you have to be careful because you don't know what are actually in those pills, and you don't know how your body will react. So let me give you some examples. I'm a 70s kid. I grew up with a single mom, and she won a microwave oven in 1960 something on a TV show. It was the first of its kind. It wasn't even called a microwave oven. It was called a radar range, right? So she wins it. And then me growing up, I grew up with my food being microwaved. That was in the 70s. We also have 1.5 acres of land. So our gardener would spray our grass and everything, fertilizer, just the regular old fertilizer, right? And so that was in the 70s. Get to being 40 plus years old, and I go to a holistic doctor who then tests my biometrics. So she puts my hand on a mouse just like this, and she reads my body. And then my mom was a smoker too. And then she says, "Did you grow up in a household that had smoke?" I'm like, "Yep, check." She said, "Did you have do you use the microwave?" And at this point, this was like 8 years ago, I was still using the microwave. And I said, "Yes." And then she said, "I can see all of these different toxins in your body based on this report from the 70s. So these toxins that are in our body can be contained there from the very moment that we're born. And so our bodies hold toxins in our fat cells. That's where the toxins come in, and then they hide in there, and then they stay in there unless you do something to shake up the fat cells and then to release the toxins. So that's sort of like what I was giving you, the metabolic process by which toxins are changed into less toxic or more readily excretable substances. So what you want to do is try to get it out. But the other thing is that, and I'm taking notes as I'm going, the other thing is that you don't want to just detox your whole body unless you're under some supervision, because there is also what we call a healing crisis. You running around taking these green juices and these pills and following all of these different protocols that people are giving you. And if you haven't checked your blood and checked your own body to see what your levels are, to see what your hormones are at, to see where your endocrine system is, to see where your estrogen and progesterone, and see how your liver is even actually doing. Is your liver even actually able to handle all of this detoxification? That can cause a problem. And they call it a healing crisis, but some people get super, super sick. So you have to be very careful. So that's my first little ringing of the alarm of being careful with jumping on the bandwagon. So let me tell you some more about the importance of detoxification. So again, if you go to my website, there's a link right here, and you will get this free guide. It's free, and it has the information, and it says the importance of detoxification. Fact number 1, due to poor quality food, air, water, and lifestyle, there has been an increasing amount of toxicity over the last few decades. So on this show, I really want us to understand that people aren't just doing things to us. In some cases they are, but in many cases we have the opportunity to do something different. We have the opportunity to choose. And a lot of times the things that are happening to us is because of our lifestyle. So if we find ourselves in a certain situation, I always tell the clients that I work with to look in the mirror, 1, and then look at your feet 2, because you created it. You created it. You were a co-creator of getting you to where you are at that specific moment. So if you know you're not drinking good water, if you know you're not sleeping well, if you know you're not forgiving the people in your family or your friends. And some of these things you're creating on your own. So it's very important to understand that. Another fact, hormone imbalances, obesity, mental fog, memory loss, fatigue, lack of vitality. I mean, I could go on. Metabolic syndrome, sleep disturbances are all manifestations of a toxic body. Now, I know you might say, I just can't sleep because I'm a night owl and then I have to watch my shows. So then I get into bed and then I can't sleep. Well, there may be some more to it. You can't remember what happened like 10 minutes ago. There may be something more to it. You feel lethargic. As soon as you get in the house, you just want to chill. You don't want to do anything. You're used to hanging out and doing fun things with your friends and your family and your children and your partner. And you just don't feel like it. And it's more than you just don't kind of like feel like it. It's like, you don't feel like it. And your body is not even allowing you to move to the next level, to do the next thing. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you're already tired. There may be something more to it. There may be some toxicity happening in your body that, you should address. And then the third fact that I have is, when the body is detoxified, it can function more efficiently and gain its resilience back. So our bodies are superhuman machines. We have given the power to the internet and to our devices and to the phones and to the laptops and tablets, but our body is the natural computer. It is the natural way that we are able to process. It is the natural way that we're able to gather information. It's the natural way we connect with humans. It's the natural way we connect with spirit. It is the original Google, the original internet, the original laptop and tablet. And so when it's working at a pristine level, you can do anything. And when the junk is out, then you're able to move and do things that you used to be able to do and maybe even do them better. So I know we know about our car, and especially guys, they're like junk gas. Like I remember my dad used to say, don't let your gas tank go lower than a half a tank, because then you're just burning junk gas. That's what he used to tell me. So that's what he used to tell me. So I'm not sure if that's true, but it's the same thing that's happening within our bodies. If we're not detoxing and getting these things out, then we're working on junk. And so you think about it, you're putting junk in your body because you're not eating good food. You're putting junk in your body because you're not drinking good water. You're putting junk in your body because you're not sleeping. And then you letting people get on your nerves, and then you really don't like your job. And then you hate sitting on the Beltway. I live in DC, so I'm thinking the Beltway here. If you don't like sitting on the Beltway and all that traffic, and then that causes you stress, then that's all toxicity. So let me just go through how the body works. I talked earlier about evolution, right? We have not evolved to being night owls. There's no such thing. We have not evolved to be working like a machine the way that the society is telling us we need to. So we had Puffy, so I'm a 70s, 80s baby, right? Puffy comes out and says, no sleep, sleep is for suckers, right? And then became the whole hustle and grind time frame, the whole hustle and grind era. That was some bull crap, and we believed it. And then we got the multitasking spirit too, right? Like do a whole bunch of different things at one time. That's not how it goes. And that too causes toxicity of the body. So just think about this. The body heals from 10 p.m. And this is where your notes come in. If you did get a piece of paper or even take some notes on your phone, the body has evolved only to heal between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Period. Like my daughter says, point blank, period. That's it. 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's the only time that your body has evolved up to this point, 2019, to be able to renew, regenerate, restore, and repair. The 4 R's, those are the things that your body does at night to be able to help you get rid of the toxins and go to the next level. So now let's think about in the earlier part of the century, before we had such bad water, food, air, and all these different things going on. If you think about it, think about your oldest memory of your oldest relative. So whether it was your great-great-great-grandmother or your great-great-aunt or just whoever was the oldest that you were around, you know they would be up early as heck, right? And then you know that they would be going to bed real early too. So for those of us like myself who are 70s babies, the TV still, we are pre 100% of the time news cycle, 24 hours. We are pre stuff is available at any time, all the time. We are pre those things. So we remember going to bed at a certain time. We remember the old people, cooked all their food. They didn't use the microwave. We remember those things. And so those are the things that we want to get back to, because those were the ways to keep our body healthy. When it was dark, everybody was asleep. When it was light, they used the long days of the summer and spring to be able to get stuff done. And then when we're like we are now, when it's dark early, they still maximize their time, but still they were asleep. And so now that we are on the 24-hour cycle, we just pushing it, and we can go to Walmart at 3 o'clock in the morning, even though, because it's open, we know that we can do this grocery run. And so nobody's in the grocery store at like 1 o'clock in the morning. We know that we have access to anything. We could even get on Amazon and shop and just get everything brought to us, but we're not sleeping during those times. Then the other thing is, let's reverse engineer it. 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is when the body heals. Reverse engineer. But the body only heals if your food is digested. Digestion is the number one energy zapper of how the body works. If your food is not digested, the body cannot start the 4 R's: repair, renew, rejuvenate, and restore. It cannot do it. And so, you know how long it takes to digest food? 2 hours at the least. That's a very short window. So if you reverse engineer, if we're healing and doing all those things at 10 p.m., you got to push back 2 hours to 8 p.m. That really technically should be our last meal, right? But we starting our dinner reservations at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. So that doesn't work. And then moving forward to that, moving even away from that, your digestion begins the first time you see the food, and then you get the little salty taste in your mouth. And you know it, and you get excited, because if it's something that you really like, you hyped, right? And then your mouth gets the little juicy juice. And then that is the beginning of the digestion process. You put your food in your mouth, and then you chew it. Now, so this is the other thing with toxins. Because we have forgotten how to chew our food. You really are supposed to chew your food at least 40 times before swallowing it. I do it sometimes, and I know y'all probably don't do it none of the time. But if you're going to be taking notes, please write that down. You should take your food in and chew it at least 40 times before you swallow, because then that helps with digestion, which then helps with your body doing its natural process of detoxification. So think about yourself. You're sitting in front of the TV and you're forking in the food. You don't taste it. You don't taste any of the spices or any of the goodness of it. And then you're probably talking, and then you're probably drinking something with it too. So one of the tips I'd like to share, and something for you to consider, is before you decide to eat your food, drink some water first, and then give yourself about a half hour to then eat your food, and then have it done by 8 o'clock, and then consider trying to go to bed around 10ish. And I say that because the body cannot repair, restore, rejuvenate, or renew, or anything unless you are asleep. So how many of us really are asleep at 10 o'clock? If I'm watching Queen Sugar or, Issa or whoever is on, then I ain't sleep. So I know that I have to rely on my DVR better so that I can know that I'm getting the sleep that I need so that my body can do its natural processes. And so your body cannot do those processes if you're awake. And so now I have a glass here, I have a cup here, it's full. So think about, you wake up and it's empty, right? In the morning, you get up, you're drinking, you're going to eating, you're going to sit in the beltway to get to work. Then you get there and you're like, I ain't really that happy, but I got to get this money. So I'm going to stay here and suck up. And then when your boss comes over, you get stressed out, and then you feeling stressed out. And then they calling you into meetings and you side-eyeing with your friends. And then it's like a lot of stress. Then you go back home and then you got to get the kids something to eat because you forgot to take the chicken out of the freezer. And then y'all run to the curry out right quick and you go get something. And then you come back and it's not really that good. And then y'all are sitting in front of the TV, and you do it every day, or at least 3 or 4 times a week. And so then it is filling up and filling up and filling up. And then you don't go to bed at 10 o'clock. And so then your body can't renew, repair, restore, rejuvenate. So now it's full. So then every day is full. And then what happens to a glass once it gets too full? It begins to overflow. And what the overflow is what we now know as autoimmune issues, diseases, dis-ease of the body. Those are cancer, MS, lupus, all different types of things. And we don't even have to go that far, because if you remember, like I told you, hormone imbalances, obesity, mental fog, memory loss. Those are the things that happen when we don't let our bodies do its natural process. We think because we're big city and we've come to 2019 and we have all these apps and we have all this access that we can trick our bodies into doing things, or make it do the things that we want it to do, when technically we are not created that way. We haven't evolved past just where we are as being normal human beings with feelings and emotions and spirits, and we have to do certain things a certain way to be optimal. So I want to go through some of the things that are in this guide. And like I said, the guide is right here in the box. You can download the guide for yourself, share it with your family so that they don't think you're crazy. Here are the 5 ways that I have found. Now, there are plenty. And again, individuality, based on how you grew up, based on what you do, based on how you were in your mom's womb. These things, there's lots of them. But I think these things, these 5 that I'm going to share with you, are universal, and anybody can do them. And for the most part, they're free to like under $10 to be able to do, okay? So the number one way to really detoxify your body, because we're talking emotional, spiritual, physical, and then also nutritional, because everything I do is based on nourishment and nutrition in whatever form it takes. Journaling. Now, how easy is that? You could just get a random old piece of paper and start writing. Or you can go to, like I call them, the playground, Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and get a beautiful journal. Beautiful, however you want it to look. You can get it leather bound so that it looks masculine, or you can get it to look however you want it to look. But writing down your emotions, because I know a lot of times, many times, women have girlfriends or family members that they are willing to share their feelings with. So they get it up and out. So again, what are we talking about? The metabolic process by which toxins are changed into less toxic or more readily excretable substances. Me holding something in and feeling stressed out about it makes my my system go on to fight or flight. And then cortisol starts to pump out. It's from your adrenal glands. It's just one of your hormones, and it's there to protect you. It's doing its job. So back in ancestral times, we were thinking that something was chasing us. So now Black people didn't come from caves. I just want to dispel that myth. If you've ever heard it, we come from the sun. So we may have had some animals that were chasing us. And what happens is your body's like, oh snap, I got to protect myself. So then your bodily fluids stop, like you can't go to the bathroom, and your feet get to running, and your mind starts to thinking about, where can I run? Where can I go? Where can I hide, right? And then it happens. You have your emotional release because you ran, and then you're good. And then you can go on about your life. That is not what happens in modern society. In modern society, let's think the same situation where the animal is chasing us is not the animal chasing us. It is the cell phone going off. So we hear that ding, and then we're already like, what's that? Then the phone is ringing, but then we also see these 10 emails that we have not answered, and then they were ready to be answered, and then there's deadlines on them, and you didn't eat yet, so then you're feeling a little hungry, so then you're like, so that's a lot of stress. That's a lot of stuff going into the body at one time. That ain't the bear, or the lion, but it still has the same reaction. So now your body is stressed out because you know you want to read that email, you know you want to read that text, you know that they're waiting for you to give this information by a certain time, but then you still didn't eat yet. So then now your cortisol level rises because it's there to protect you. It puts you into fight or flight. But because you do nothing but sit and look at the email, look at the text, and then give the people what they want on this report, you stay at your desk and your body doesn't move. So you don't get to have what is called an emotional release. You don't get to process the cortisol and the fight or flight response. You don't get to move it through. And so it stays stagnant, and that is also another toxin. And that happens all the time, every day in our modern society. So it is supposed to be that you're supposed to cry. That's a release. It is supposed to be that you can yell if you want to, just watch who you're talking to, right? It can also be that you stomp your feet. It could also be that you walk out the door and slam it and go for a walk, or I've got to go for a drive. Those things are normal things to help the energy pass. And when you don't do them and you remain silent and then you stuff it down, and it happens day after day and week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, what happens? Super toxicity. And so when you start to understand that, and understand that the body is all mind, body, and spirit, and that it's all tied together, and that, you know, there are ways that you can help to mitigate some of those things, then you can make different choices. So the goal is to get it up and out. You want to get it out. Excretion of substances, okay? Journaling is one of those. I did a whole roundabout to get back to there, but journaling is one of those things. Here is a fact about journaling. It optimizes our creative potential. It accelerates our ability to manifest our goals. It creates a springboard for daily recovery, and it generates clarity and clears our emotions. Now, who thought that you sitting down, writing a little bit of something in a notebook every night or every morning or both could have this much of a benefit? And again, for those who are just coming in, this is the detox infographic guide. Is free. It's right on my website. The link is right there. Check it out so that you can remember some of these things. So now I started journaling in 1978. My mom gave me a journal for Christmas, and she said, sit down every night or whatever and write down about what happened for the day. So, you know, I'm 8. So I'm writing down, I saw so-and-so at the mall. We was at the skating rink and we had fun. And whatever boy I was peeping at around this time, right? But then as I got older, you know, through high school and then through college and then through my adult life, I have been able to sit and write these things down. So let me give you a few tips on how I do it. In the morning, I just write thank you, because part of it is one of the biggest ways to detox is using vitamin G, and the G stands for gratitude. So I just give thanks when I wake up in the morning. So even if you have never been a journaler, even if you've never written anything down, that's one thing you can do when you open up the journal is just say thank you, right? And then also your eyes are open and you got the wits to be able to write, and you got your cute journal from Marshall. So then you can be like, wow, I'm alive, I'm here. And then I always ask Spirit to help me for the day. I say, help me. So my first 3 words on the first line of every single journal entry I do are thank you, help me, and wow. I start there. And then I just go and talk about whatever happened, whatever I'm thinking about for the day or whatever I was thinking about, right? And then at night, if you are one of those night owls, you can start writing what happened that day. And so you can be like, you know, I had a great day at work today. We had a party for so-and-so who's leaving. We got this project done under budget, you know, within the time frame. My boss is happy. Or you're the boss and your employees are knocking it out of the box and you guys are just, you know, really feeling good and there's a good energy there. You can be like, my partner brought me my favorite butter chicken from the Indian restaurant today, and we sat in front of the TV like we hadn't done in a long time, and we just had a good old time. Or whatever it is, write that down in your diary. You're just kind of documenting what happened. You're getting it up and out so that when it's time to close your eyes, you won't be up thinking about those things. They have already been up and they've been documented, and then you should be able to sleep more peacefully. So that's one is journaling. Number 2 is a restful sleep. So you see how it's all tied together? So restful sleep improves concentration and productivity. And who don't need that? Maximizes athletic performance, okay? Decreases risk of heart disease and stroke, and improves immunity. It also affects social and emotional interaction. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the thumbs up. And wearing an eye mask supports an even deeper sleep. So the best environment for us to sleep in is something that is dark and a little chilly. Now, I never used to believe that because I'm always cold and I always want it to be toasty warm. But what I started to keep my room a little cooler, and I have a little eye mask. Again, go to the playground and get you those little eye masks. They got them all over. They got masculine ones and feminine ones, but it helps block out the light. And so it allows me to sleep more deeply. And sometimes when I'll pop that little eye open thing, I'm like, oh my God, the sun is up. I didn't even know I was knocked out. It's because I was having a restful sleep. So a restful sleep, again, improves concentration and productivity. So that's still the hustle grind. It's just the hustle grind in a different way. It's just in a more sustainable and healthy way is this hustle and grind, concentration and productivity, because you don't need to hustle and grind if you're concentrating, because when you're concentrating, then you're producing, right? Heart disease is the killer in the world. So it helps decrease the risk of heart disease and stroke, and it helps your immunity. So now, when you have a toxic system, your immune system is jacked up, and your body cannot fight the things that come into your system because it's suppressed. Your immune system is suppressed. These not sleeping, not eating well, not managing your stress, these are all things that can suppress your immune system. So you have to really be careful. You know, I'm flying out on this weekend to go hang out with some friends, right? I'm popping some vitamin C because I already know being inside of a container, an airplane, with all them coughing people and them crying babies, and who knows what's on the seats and in them chairs, I'm getting my immune system strong enough to be able to withstand whatever it is. Heck, it's cough and flu season right now. It's the winter here in the Northeast. So I'm trying to prepare myself, trying to get some extra sleep. I'm trying to make sure that my immune system is strong enough for me to withstand these things so that when I'm traveling, then I feel better. And I'm going to wear my eye mask on the plane, and I'm going to try to sleep too. So that's 2. So 1 is journaling and 2 is restful sleep. And they're not in any order. It's just how I'm going down the list. The other thing is our skin is the number 1 way for us to detox our bodies. It is the number 1 organ, and it has the little holes in it, the pores that we call them, and that's where the sweat comes. So you ever been to the gym or just been and walked around the track or just been outside when it's hot and you get a good sweat going on? Never think that's a bad thing. It's because you're able to, what did we say? Excrete substances more readily available. That's what you want to do. So a way to do that is to take a sea salt bath. Sea salt and clay. That's what you can do. And so that naturally helps us build up a strong immune system to fight off the cold virus, the fever and flu, allergies, and other autoimmune issues. So this is how I do mine. I have a tub. Thank goodness I have a tub at my house. If you don't have a tub, there are other ways to sweat. This is what I do. I run the water as hot as I can stand it. And, you know, everybody's elder has some Epsom salt in their bathroom, right? I poured like a whole rack of Epsom salt in the tub, and I let the water just get really, really hot. I also put in olive oil to make the water soft. But then I also put in an essential oil or a few. It just depends on what I'm feeling. If I'm trying to go to sleep, then I'll put in a little lavender. I always put in frankincense because that just helps the body heal in a way that many other substances don't. Frankincense is super important, and you can Google that on your own. But I put that in the water, and you do not put essential oils in water or in anything on any part of your body without a carrier. The oil is the carrier. And then if it's in the tub, it can just evaporate. And we don't want that. We want to hold in the moisture and hold in the power of the essential oil. So that's what I put in my tub. And then sometimes, just depending on what I have, I might put some herbs in there. It just depends on what I have. And then I'll get in, and that joint is hot, but I suck it up, and then I just get in. And then I sit in there for 30 minutes. The optimal time to sit in the tub and to, get the benefits of a good detox and a good sweat is 30 minutes, depending if your water is good and hot, okay? And that's something you can do in the morning or at night. It just depends, but it helps you rest. So let's talk about wanting to be able to rest better. Maybe try it at night, because ain't nobody really got time in the morning unless you just have your own schedule in the morning. Do it at night. Put the babies in the bed, or tell the big kids, I'm about to take this bath. Don't bother me, right? Go in there and relax. You can take a book. You can do candles. I mean, I do all those things. I do candles. The essential oils smell good, but sometimes I bring my diffuser in there and I let it just go. And then I have the lights off, and then I have my salt rock lamp. They got a rack of them at Marshall's too, a salt rock lamp. And I put it in there, and I let that nice amber flow just go through the bathroom. Now, I don't have a fancy bathroom. I share it with Sydney. So I just got to get in where I can fit in. But I go in there, and then I just relax. Sometimes I put on good music. Sometimes I listen to a lecture. It just depends on what I'm feeling, but I am detoxing and I'm relaxing. So try that. If you do not have a tub, if you go to the gym, why not try going to the sauna or the steam room. I do that as well. I actually try to go to the steam room almost every day. Those types of things and sweating, you can do that every day, because if you remember, if our cups are so full, we need to do every single thing we can every single day to help to get the toxins to be more readily available to be excreted, okay? So get your little bathing suit, or you can go in there in the nude. Get your little towel, because the other little ladies that's in there, they don't care. They can be in there wrinkly as I don't know what, but they will be in there proud and getting their sweat on. So you just have to figure out what's comfortable for you. Yeah, we know you just got your hair done. Wrap that joint up and go sit in the sauna or the steam room and enjoy a good sweat. The steam room gets super hot. I can only stand it for maybe like 7 or 8 minutes, and then I run out, and then I take a cold shower. And it took a lot to get used to, but I do it. I just get in the cold shower, and then I run back into the steam room. So it's that hot, cold, and it helps really with the immune system, and it helps to keep your immune system really, really strong, and helps to support you from being sick. Okay, so that is your skin. Sea salt. Go to CVS. Go on Amazon, wherever you get it. I get a 19-pound bag of sea salt, of Epsom salt, and that's what I do there. Okay, so journaling, restful sleep, sea salt or clay bath. Okay. And then exfoliation, again with the skin. Exfoliation along with sea salts helps remove dead skin particles, tone up the skin tissue, and encourages blood circulation and promotes skin renewal. Now that's a lot for some exfoliation. So those little gloves that you see at all, like at the playground, you can get those gloves, and that's what I use to wash. That's what I use to shower and to take my baths. I moved away from just the washcloth, and I use that because I want to be able to get the dead skin cells off of my body, because when the dead skin cells are on, they are blocking my pores. So I want them to be free. So that's what I use. I use an exfoliation. They got loofahs, they got gloves, they got all types of things. You can do your back. They have all types of things. It just depends on what makes you the most comfortable to do it. Now, I'm saying the sea salt is probably like $3 to $5, $6 at Giant, depending on where you go. The exfoliation gloves could be $3.99. You go to Bed Bath & Beyond. I mean, there are so many different places where you can get these things, and they will help you to detox. So now the last one that I'm using now, like again, there's a rack of them. I'm just doing 3. The cheapest ones and the easiest ones are tongue scrapers. So think about, you went to sleep on time. Your body was able to renew, repair, rejuvenate, and restore. Okay. Think about an ice skating rink, and everybody's skating, and all the ice is getting to be kind of like messed up on the ice. It's getting to be like flakes, right? What do? They kick y'all off, and then they bring the trucks in. The truck goes on, it cleans it all the way off, and it looks like glass. It looks like a mirror. It's beautiful. And then we come back on, and then we do it again. Think about that is your body and your immune system and your systems in your body, that's the job that it does, just like the truck when you sleep at night. So now it has to go somewhere. So usually when you first wake up in the morning, what do you have to do? Go to the bathroom. One, that's a way to detox, because your lymph nodes were flushing, your brain was flushing, your heart was doing its job. Think about a construction site where every person has their own job. That is what your organs have. Your organs have its own job. The heart knows what to do. The liver knows what to do. The kidneys know what to do. The skin knows what to do. The fluids know what to do. And isn't it amazing that we didn't have to have a meeting about it? We didn't have to put a timer on it. We didn't have to put it on our to-do list. It just happens. The body is amazing. And the body actually can heal itself. So this is part of the things that I'm talking about when you get wrapped up into getting on a regimen. I'm not knocking regimens of buying things, but I just want you to think about it so that you don't get trapped into anything. And I have 10 minutes, so I'm going to go pretty quickly. A regimen of buying some pills, a regimen of getting on somebody's juicing plan. What happens is you're going to have to keep doing it. And so if you learn ways to be able to allow your body to heal, this is sort of like a mantra: given the right rest, the right food, the right air, the right water, and the right relationships, your body can pretty much heal itself if you give it rest and you allow it to do its natural process. So in nature, when an animal is hurt, the animal goes deeper into the forest and it goes to sleep. And then the body will heal itself. What dog, what cat, what other animal have you ever seen on its own say, yo, can you take me to the vet? None. They will always try to get away from you and get away from us humans, and they will always try to go find a quiet place so that they can just rest. Because when you sleep, the 4 R's: repair, renew, restore, rejuvenate. And I know it sounds like redundant, but it ain't that hard. It actually is pretty simple. And that's what I want you to know. Like, I want you to know that it can be simple. It does not have to be hard. It does not have to be so regimented. It doesn't have to be so harsh unless you already find yourself sick and you are following a protocol that your doctors or somebody has prescribed for you for a short amount of time. Anytime somebody tells you you have to be on something for the rest of your life, you might want to side-eye them and get another opinion, because that is not necessarily true. Sometimes you need that triage where you just need those pills or you just need that level of care for a short amount of time. But for the most part, with the right rest, water, relationships, food, and all those things, your body is created. Our bodies are created to heal and repair and restore them itself, okay? So just know that. So you slept, the toxins are ready to be released because they are now in a more excretable substance. And what happens when you wake up in the morning? You go to the bathroom, but what also happens is you taste that sticky film in your mouth. It's your breath. And it's the toxins that have then landed and absorbed onto the tongue. So like, have this visual. You step out of bed and the carpet is wet and you step in wet carpet. That's what your tongue is. It's a wet carpet full of toxins. So my number 5 and last thing is tongue scraping. So we got journaling 1, restful sleep, sea salt bath, exfoliation, and then the tongue scraping. So I'm going to read from my little handy dandy infographic here. Your tongue is like a wet carpet, like I just said, full of toxins. During our sleep, the digestive system remains awake, removing toxins from our body by depositing them onto the surface of our tongue. If we don't scrape away these toxins, they get reabsorbed into the body and can lead to respiratory difficulties, digestive problems, and a compromised immune system. Tongue scraping should be done on a regular basis in the morning upon waking up and on an empty stomach. So every morning when you first wake up, consider brushing your teeth and using a tongue scraper. So now the optimal tongue scraper is metal. So those are a little more expensive, but hey, if you go to Starbucks every day, then you can get you a tongue scraper. Get a tongue scraper and then just do it on an empty stomach, because what happens is, again, the toxins, they are now made in that more readily available excretable state. But if we just get up and then start eating and start digesting and start doing all these things before we break our fast from not eating over the night, then it'll just be reabsorbed into our body, and that we don't want. So try to scrape your tongue. Get the plastic one. Get whatever you want. They like $3.99 at any store. So let me give you some more benefits of tongue scraping. The bad breath comes from the bacteria at the back of the tongue, which is a hard area to reach. So if you're scraping your tongue, be very gentle. Like, we ain't saying rip your taste buds off. We're just saying get the toxins off. And so if you can get to the very, very back, and I know half y'all will be throwing up at that point, but the good thing is you won't have anything in your body to throw up. So just be careful and just take your time to do it, and show your children, show the babies how to do it early, because the earlier they know all these things. Give your baby a journal to start writing in. They had fun at school today. So-and-so is their best friend. Get them to know these things. If you have high blood pressure, though, do not take this sea salt bath, because that will be an issue. This is all bio-individuality based on your own body. So these things you have to test for yourself or talk to your doctor about them, but they're super basic. Also, it removes buildup from the surface of your tongue to open up the pores to allow you to taste the food flavors. When was the last time you really sat there and thought, ooh, I can taste the cumin in this, or I can taste the whatever in this? It helps to do that. Scraping your tongue prevents toxins from being resorbed into the body, which we already said, and it promotes general tooth and gum health. It removes bacteria and toxins responsible for periodontal problems, plaque buildup, tooth decay, loss of teeth, and gum infections. Just on some tongue scraping. So now think about it. Did they have toothbrushes in Africa? No. What did they have? They chewed on sticks. They chewed on pieces of wood. If you look at older people in pictures, they had the strongest teeth ever, the straightest and whitest teeth ever, because they chewed on sticks, and they probably, whatever they were doing, they did it. And I ain't talking about Europe. Europe has some terrible teeth. I'm talking about brown people. They have, the ancestors had some really, really nice teeth. Just look at the pictures, because they were taking care of their teeth. And it also improves digestion. So another benefit of tongue scraping is it helps to remove the taste of foods that you might be craving. So think about it. If you're craving chocolate and you eat chocolate all the time at a certain time just because your mind triggers you to eat the chocolate, if you tongue scrape, you're getting that imprint and that memory of that chocolate off of your tongue. And so, or whatever food it is, and it allows you to not, and I have 3 minutes left, so I'm going to wrap it up. It allows you to not want that as much, because a lot of times the reason why we eat food and we do the things that we do is because we want to feel secure. We want to feel loved. We want to feel a part of something. That triggers the pleasure center in our brain, and dopamine, which is a hormone, is excreted, right? So a lot of times eating the chocolate will bring us that. A lot of times eating the food we want will bring us that. But you know what also will bring us that? Holding hands with our partner or our children, or giving hugs and kisses, or having sex, or talking to your best friends. Those are the things that also trigger the dopamine in your body, because what you really want is to feel good. So you don't need the chocolate necessarily. Ain't nothing wrong with chocolate, but if you want chocolate, get some chocolate. But if it's a problem for you, or any other food, scrape your tongue. Excuse me. And that will help to remove the imprint of that taste. So lots of different ways to help to detox. So one, be careful of them green juices and pills, because they're expensive. And once you buy them, you're going to have to keep buying them. So just be careful. Excuse me. We're going to go over to 5 again, and then we're going to wrap it up. 5 ways of detox: journaling. 2, restful sleep. 3, sea salt bath. 4, exfoliation. And 5, tongue scraping. It is all right there on the handy dandy guide. Just download it. It's free. You can download it and you can get your own, and then you can remember it. Take it, put it on your mirror, put it on your kitchen refrigerator, and let me know how it goes, because I think that you'll find some benefits from it. It's super easy. Teach your kids. So that's what I got today. I hope it wasn't too much, but you have the guide, so then it can help you remember what I said. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here, and I will see you again in the sanctuary. You can follow me on social at Goddess. At Awaken and Heal. And then you can also go to wendycherry.com and follow me there. So check me out there to follow the revolution, and I will see you next time. Peace.